Phillips is son of that lawyer
Hmm.
who disposes
Yeah.
her father.
Yes.
Then what happens after later?
After the letter, she feels very remorsed because
Remorseful.
she feels like there is no happiness that will come out of love because she has dealt with so
She's
much.
disillusioned with the
And
love.
and she's still very like conflicted between Philip and Tom because if she
Okay.
were to fall in love with Philip again, then Tom.
Inner
and her-
contradiction.
Yeah, so her and Tom relationship would never be reconciled.
Mhm.
So there's that, and the chapter ends after the letter. In the next chapter,
Last chapter.
kind of, yeah.
Mhm.
Stephen sends her a letter, and
So who is Stephen?
the one that she ran away with, Lucy's fiance.
Okay, okay.
So Stephen.
I think runaway is not a right word. He led her to a boat ride.
Yes,
She's not like purposefully. I think she ran away. I think he somehow like he manipulated her into going for a boat ride with her, something like this.
She was in love with him.
With
But
Stephen.
she still, she
Okay.
rejected him because of her cousin and because
Okay.
of her brother. So Stephen writes a letter to her saying.
Who is Stephen? Stephen is?
Lucy's fiance.
Acha, acha. Uh-huh.
Stephen writes a letter to her saying, telling her that he might be returning to St. Ox from his homeland,
Mhm.
but he will only come to her if she herself tells him, like if she herself sent him a letter telling him to come to her.
Mhm.
It was a pretty short letter. It was just him telling her that I still love you and
Mhm.
if you still love me, please send me a letter.
So what is the purpose of letter of Phillips? He wants something, some consent or something.
No, he
from
was
her?
just expressing his love because.
No, but what was the purpose? He wanted some consent, or was it a proposal
No, it wasn't
for
any
marriage?
proposal.
It's not a proposal for marriage.
No.
Okay.
It was just a letter,
A confession.
kind of like a forgiveness. letter.
Forgiveness. He is forgiving.
He is
Asking
asking
forgiveness?
for forgiveness, and he's also forgiving her because of the time that they had spent apart.
Okay.
Because of Tom.
Mhm.
So, after she reads Stephen's letter, she is tempted to write him a letter telling him to come because she still likes him. But she decides to do it in the morning. She decides to go to sleep. It's night time, and there's heavy rain outside.
Mhm.
She wasn't concerned about the heavy rain because as a child she had experienced a lot of small floods.
Mhm.
But after a while she feels some water at her feet
Okay.
and she runs up
Again,
to wake up.
it's a river of Floss River.
Yes.
So again, she is staying very close to Floss River. Her
Yeah, but she's
childhood
staying
was
with Bob now. Bob
okay in the
lives
same
there.
locality
Yeah.
near River Floss.
Yeah. Bob stayed very close to the mill.
Okay.
So she runs upstairs to wake up Bob and his wife. She tells them to get the boats out. And by the time she's down, the water is like knee level.
Mhm.
So she gets on a boat. Bob is behind her, but he abandons her to go get his wife and child. So she is left on her own, and she rows. She tries to get to the mill through the river Floss. She can't go there
Again,
directly.
when we are talking, we should be very careful because we are talking about the characters which are very carefully crafted. When we say abandon is a negative word. I'm sure Bob would not abandon. Bob he had some other pressing need, like a wife and children. They might be in some other part of the house, so he went to fetch them. He went to rescue them. Like all these characters. Bob is not a negative character. He doesn't have even a shade of negative. So we cannot use the word abandon, right? He had some other pressing needs, so he went them to fetch them. So she was left alone. It happens. Like in Titanic movie, it also happened. When the ship was was sinking, at that time hero had to. They could not hero could not help heroine or heroine could not be with the hero. Nobody abandoned anyone, right? It's an emergency.
So she rows the boat. She tries to row the boat directly to the mill because she can't go there directly because of the water currents. So So she tries to take like a curve, and she can see the whole, like the entire St. Augs from there, and she thinks about all the memories she's had there, and all the sorrow and dread that she experienced in that town. She makes it to to the mill, and by the time
But the
she's
mill
there,
is what? It's not working, na? Closed. Mill is working still,
yeah,
but
Under
under the
Tom's.
ownership of Tom has like
Yeah, he
retaken
bought it
it.
again.
Okay.
And she was under the impression that Tom and her mother were staying there. So by the time she reaches the mill, a lot of furniture is floating around, and the water has reached the upper window of the mill. So she bangs on the window, and
She-
calls out for Tom and her mother.
Okay.
And she does see Tom. Thankfully, Tom comes up to the window and he tells her that their mother was away in some other town. So he himself gets on the boat. All the servants have drowned.
Drowned.
The flood, yeah. So he gets on the boat and they are rowing over to Lucy's place to see if Lucy and the others are well.
So it's a crisis for the whole
Yeah.
city.
Yes.
Mhm.
So, but there's this wood furniture sort of company in
Huh?
between, like a company that manufactures a lot of wood and
Okay.
furniture and stuff. And all of the machinery was in crisis, right? So
In crisis.
all the machinery was flooded and it was all floating around. So it was a very
Okay.
dangerous place
Okay.
to be in
Okay.
because anything could hit anybody.
Mhm.
So the workers there, they are
The mill workers.
yeah, no, the workers of the company. that are
But the
manufacturing.
company is
But
owned
they
by
are-
whom?
It's just a random company. It's just there in the
Okay, in the neighboring area.
Huh.
Mhm.
They are on a leveled area and they are trying to tell them to turn around because they were about to crash in some of the machinery, which is very dangerous.
Okay, Tom and
Um, Maggie, yes.
Okay.
But yeah, as they don't listen to them, they keep on rowing ahead.
But where they are trying to reach?
They're trying to reach Lucy's place, which is ahead.
Why?
Because they are trying to see if Lucy and the others are well.
Safe or not?
Yes.
Mhm.
They keep on rowing ahead, but a tragic incident occurs and machinery falls on their boat. So their boat goes down, and after a while, the boat comes up, but they both don't. So
Drowned.
Yeah. So we know that they've drowned, and
Mhm.
that's a very bittersweet conclusion of the story. It ends there.
So Tom
And-
marry, and Maggie both dies.
Yeah. They, as they die, they are embracing each other.
So again,
It's
so
a very bittersweet conclusion.
yeah.
In the conclusion, it shows us a scene of 5 years later where the town is back to normal again. The Dorklot mill has been rebuilt, and
But who is running the mill now?
they don't say that. It's just mentioned that it is running now, and in the Dorklot churchyard, along with their father, 2 tombs are attached. 2 more tombs are made for Tom and Maggie, and it's said that Stephen and Philip keep coming to visit them continuously. Over the years. Philip doesn't get married, but Stephen takes a wife and has children. So that's the
And
conclusion.
what
of the
happens to
story.
Lucy?
They don't mention that. But Lucy, before the storm occurred, Lucy had forgiven Maggie. She came to visit Maggie, and her love for Maggie was too much.
Restored.
Yeah. So that's the conclusion.
So what is your overall thoughts on the book? This is one of the greatest book
So it was a beautiful book. I did.
about family. You see,
Yeah.
about family.
The-
Normally, all the book talks about like an husband, wife, or the fancy. This book primarily talks about
Family.
sister and brother,
Yeah.
right? Even the conclusion, like is focused on sister and brother. What is your thought?
The ending was very unexpected. I was expecting Maggie to finally find happiness with Philip or Stephen, but in the end, she dies alone. In terms of marriage, Tom does forgive her in the last moments of her life, so I think she died happy.
Is there any conversation happening in the towards the end? Because both
In the boat-
were like Tom was not happy with her So in the end, was there any like kind of discussion between them?
Tom was not happy with her, but when she showed up to the mill with the boat, he automatically like forgives her because he can see that she still
He
cares.
says anything to her? No.
Not really. They just converse about how to get to Lucy's house, but by the end, Tom does tell her. He calls Maggie by her nickname that he used to refer to
Okay,
her
it means
as.
again the like
As a
the
kid.
old
Yeah.
the relationship
Mm.
like has already has been like repaired. They have been restored, and they are back to like loving each other.
So he calls Maggie Maxie, which was the term used to refer as when they were young kids, and he was the one who embraces her as they are both about to drown.
Okay, so Maggie has been forgiven.
Yes.
So basically, I read this book quite like long back, around 10-12 years back. But you see, in the end, what is happening that all the characters, whether it is Stephens, whether it is Phillips, they have been exonerated. Like author has like has has removed any stigma from the characters. The characters have forgiven each other. They have tried to explain to each other, right? So there was two love in the Maggie's life. One was Phillips and Stephens, and both by sending letters they had confessed. They had confessed, or they had asked for forgiveness, or they have forgiven Maggie. So in that way, all the characters comes to full conclusion. It comes to whole circle, and everyone is justified. So it is circumstances. Phillips was also a great person. It is circumstances that both could not be together, and the family came, the honor came, and there was some history. She could not have done anything about history, right? But that's how we all have the ups and downs in the life. That life tests like in these kind of cycles, right? And then this is also like a very common thing. We all have family bonding, right? And family also, we have sometimes the frictions. Of course, it's a novel, so it will be a more dramatic. But in family, we also have some frictions between two sisters and brothers, sometimes husband and wives. And there are many great stories where there is a friction between the father and son, father and daughter. But this is the a very one can say a very memorable kind of book, and woven very beautifully around Maggie. Maggie is the star, the central character, and everything unfolds, and in the end, everything is has been justified. Everything has been given a very logical end. Nothing has been left open, and all the characters are able to redeem themselves. And there were some some episodes, some circumstances, but they all have been able to redeem themselves, right? So that's how the book ends, right? So any concluding thought about the book?
I think it's a very realistic book. It's more like Oliver Twist. It had like a fairy tale happy ending.
Oliver Twist, like such kind of event doesn't happen. You don't have people like what was his name, Faxi or such kind of weekend people only is just in the stories. In life, in otherwise, we don't have this. But again, this is for the children kind of a story. This is a real story, and it revolves around a young lady, a very noble lady. Maggie is overall a very noble lady. That's why that is how she is pursued by so many young people, and also she has a very great moral grounds. She punished herself. Most of the time she punished herself. Nobody is inflicted punishment on her, but she has that moral standard, and she kept family values, family honor, family her obligations above everything. She could have gone, she could have married very happily, lived a beautiful life, but she thought that her obligation, and she accepted Tom at certain point that he is the guardian of the family. That was the like kind of culture at that time. Even to this time, that if son is adult, son is grown up, he's considered the guardian. So she accepted that role very beautifully. She tried to sacrifice her own. It's all about sacrifice. At every point, she sacrificed her own happiness for the sake of what?
The family's happiness.
Family's happiness. So that's why her character is like Hannah is so beautiful, and this book is quoted at so many places. Chalo. And so I told you I'm reading another book by same author. Same author means George Eliot. Middlemarch. So my book has reached certain point. Now the new character has come, Mr. Tullman, I say something else, has come. So two parallel love stories are going on. As I told you, Dorothy and Celia are two sisters. Dorothy has married Mr. Casaubon. Mr. Casaubon is quite elderly, and he's a rector. Like he holds some office in the church, and he's doing the religious work. He's writing some manuscripts and he's doing some research. So Dorothy wants to help, but he's not inclined to take help of Dorothy, right? Because Dorothy is not educated in Greek or Latino or these kind of things. So there are some friction between them, and they go for a marriage trip to Rome, and there, like most of the time, he is busy in the library, and then the Dorothy is going and seeing the art. So there, like some Will is there. So Will, like he's a nephew of Mr. Casaubon. So Will becomes very attracted towards Dorothy. So let's see, and Will tries to come and meet Dorothy, but Dorothy has suspicion that Will is like attracted in other ways. So she like discourages. So one story is of Dorothy and Mr. Casaubon. And Casaubon, there are some friction, there are some like husband and wife like arguments, but those arguments are very balanced, very measured, very polished arguments, right? Only thing, but then he has a stroke. Mr. Casaubon has a stroke. Then, like doctor says, one Mr. Dr. Lockwick is there, so he has new in the city. So he comes and he says he should not be strained. If he suffers more stress, more exhausted, then his life will be in danger. Then Dorothy, like there is some change in heart. Dorothy, she is feeling very like repentant, that she should not have caused any kind of unhappiness or anger in to Mr. Casaubon. So one part is this. Other part is, I told you there was one Mr. Featherbank, right? And he has one governess, Mary. So Mary is in love with Fred Vinci, and I told you how Fred Vinci is supposed to get the money. Is the nephew of Mr. Featherbank. So Mr. Fred is supposed to inherit all the properties of Mr. Featherbank, but he is in love of very high profile life, and he has got very wealthy friends, aristocratic friends. So he sometimes loses money in the gambling, in the horse racing and something. So he is always in the short of money, and whatever money he gets from Mr. Featherbank and his own guardian, he always wastes unknowingly, without his own plan in wasteful things. So Mary is now very cautious of Fred. Both are in love with each other, but Mary is very careful and very intelligent. She doesn't like this kind of, though she is ready to forgive all his follies, but she doesn't like that kind of nature. Not being serious about the career. So one story is this. Now Fred, there are three stories in fact. Now Fred has a sister. Fred has a sister called Lucy. Right? So Fred's sister is again like she loves life, she likes music, she likes dancing, she likes art, and she falls in love with when Fred is ill, then Dr. Lockway or something, he always frequents her house. So she is caring of Fred, and doctor is coming every day, And at that time, doctor used to stay after giving the like pills. They used to stay to see that the patient is responding well. So in that whole his illness, she falls in love with Doctor Lockwood. Doctor Lockwood is not from that neighborhood. He has come from London, and so many people, half of the people they don't like him, and the local doctors don't like him because he has brought so many new ideas, so new way of treatment. And at that time there were many diseases, and people used to die from many these kind of epidemics. So Doctor Lockwood has all the new formulations for the medicines. Some people are accepting, some people are not accepting. So since he treated Fred, so his popularity grows in the society, and in the meantime both become attracted to each other. But doctor is not serious about marriage because he's still learning. He thinks the career is more important, and he thinks the social service is more important. But Mary falls in love with very seriously with doctor. Now there is a pressure on the Mary because people around her, they know about this affair, and they suspect that doctor may not be serious, and Mary will be ultimately will suffer heartburn, right? So Mary one day the doctor stops coming to the Mary's house. So after 10-15 days, one day doctor appears because again Fred has some illness. So after 10 days, the doctor comes to Mary. That day, when Mary sees him, she starts crying, and she says something. But then doctor understands now he has also gone far ahead to go back. So then he accepts to make a proposal to her father, right? So both gets engaged. So two stories have moved towards engagement, right? That Lucy's story has moved towards engagement. Dorothy has moved towards already married. Third is that Mary, who is the governess of Featherbank, the old person. And the old person has died now. Now no one knows what is his name. So her life, her love interest, now it is yet to be known. And now Mr. Turnbull has come. He's auctioneer. So he's also a very smart person. So there may be some more linkages between the two. So let's see. And in the meanwhile, Celia is married to Mr. James Chatham. Celia is sister of Dorothy. So Celia has married Dorothy, and Celia was very smart and a wise lady. She always wanted to marry a rich person, and James was a mayor. He was a rich person. First, James wanted to marry Dorothy, but Dorothy refused because he was not well educated. But Celia happily accepts his proposal. So that's how the story is. It's a very big book, very big book. A lot part of the book is towards the Christianity, towards the marriage, intricacy of the marriage. So you can read when you are slightly more adult. In the meantime, just know the contours of the story. Again, the more important thing about the Middlemarch. Middlemarch is a small town. It's not London. It's a small town. So it has got so many characters. It has doctors. It has church. It has curators, rectors, and lot of politics is going on inside the small society. Right? And they are all linked with each other through marriages. And lot of envies are there. Right? And there are very few young men. There are very few young females. And all the old ladies, they keep track on what is happening into our society, and they always have some good plans that how to make the right matches. So all of them are well connected with each other, and they have some business dealing with each other, and they love each other, and they also at the same time they criticize each other. So that's how the story is. So let me finish. I have read around 45%. So again, this is also a very beautiful book, and especially I think the main character is Dorothy. She married someone who was 30 years older to her, against everyone's wishes. and every time and they have these kind of friendly whatever the frictions, the heated exchange. But she is the one who comes like first and says sorry, right? And now that he has become ill, Mr. Kosobar, so now she has another duty that he should not be stressed. That's how the story is, right? So that's all for today's meeting. So what is your next plan for a reading book? Everyone has the priority list now. What is your priority list?
So I was gonna move away from classic
Why?
for one book at least.
Huh? The classic should always be kept side by side. And by this time you must have developed the taste of the classic. This kind of characters is not a fiction. The kind of characters that they provide, right? In many ways they become the inspiration. In many ways, and they give us the important learnings in the life that we can always learn in the tough situation. And everyone will go through the passage of life. We'll all become adult. We'll all become like settle in the family, and then we'll become old. Here, in the space of say 1 month, 2 month time, you see the 5-6 life. End to end. It gives you a perspective of the life. Ultimately, all lives will be like this only. All lives will suffer these kind of tragedies. All lives will have this kind of upside, downside, some betrayals. But at the same time, there will always be a silver lining also. Right? So that's the importance of the book and these authors. That they teach you about the life. They are the life trainers. So keep always classic by this on your table. You may read all the books, but the real message of the life comes from these books. And you can always quote these kind of letters, these kind of many passages will be there, which can be quoted. And I have realized that the George Eliot, she writes with a tongue-in-cheek kind of humor. Like in the middle mark, she has written about churches, she has written about doctors. So she has commented about them, about their profession, which is in witty way. The wits, enjoy their wits. All the writers have a great sense of humor. Enjoy the wits, the conversations between the characters, and during the crisis, how they behave. These characters, how they behave. These are points to learn. So, ठीक है Ashi, that's for today. Let's meet for another maybe next week or next week. But by the time you start one more classic, right? So, bye. Sayonara.